What's going on, everyone? So last night after the game against the Toronto Raptors, we got an update in regards to Jarred Vanderbilt. So JJ Redick says Jarred Vanderbilt is progressing, but is dealing with some minor discomfort. Team will have another update in a week or so. This isn't good news when it comes to Jarred Vanderbilt, right? I mean, this is a guy that was injured all of last season, just had foot surgery on both his feet, has had an injury issue, and has been injury ridden since he came into the league. And we need guys that are available, right? Jarred Vanderbilt healthy and at his top game is, I mean, his impact is immeasurable at times, right? His ability to defend essentially 1 through 5. We've seen what Jarred Vanderbilt plus Anthony Davis does. Those two alone make us a top defense because of how much ground Jarred Vanderbilt covers, how much he is able to impact the basketball court. He is one of, if not the best perimeter defender in the entire league because of his size, his length, his athleticism. He's a guy that is desperately needed for the Lakers right now, right? He's a guy that I've said time and time again, I do believe that they need to inject into the starting unit at some point, but that point may never come. And it's honestly getting to the point where I feel like you're almost better off trading him and letting somebody else take the gamble on him. Now, again, the best ability is availability. But I don't believe the Lakers are in the position and have the luxury to gamble on a guy like Jarred Vanderbilt. He's an offensive liability, and we've seen, like in the Denver series, him get played off the court because of it. Now, I do think with JJ Redick, he'll be able to kind of offset some of those things, but still, Jarred Vanderbilt is a bit of a liability out there, particularly on the offensive side. But having him as a specialty guy, I don't think is a bad thing. However, again, it's like, is he worth it to wait around for when we can maybe turn him into somebody that can actually have an impact? There's just a couple things about that. One, you're probably going to have to allow him to return from injury first. Teams are probably going to want to see at least that he can play, a handful of games. But, again, are the Lakers really in a position to let him play? And then what happens if, say, 15 games in, he gets hurt, right? And depends on when he comes back. What if he doesn't come back till close to the trade deadline? You hope not, but we also thought he'd be back, the first month of the season. It doesn't look like that's happening anytime soon. And on top of that, he just signed a new contract. So literally, you look at his contract, he's in the first year of a 4-year deal. So he's making $10.7 million this year. Then it goes to 11.5, then 12.4, then 13.2. Right? That $10.7 million could be added in order to match salaries for a bigger thing, or you could just do a swap, right? Valanciunas is available on the 15th of December. Jarred Vanderbilt could be. Hopefully he's played a couple games by then. Maybe the Wizards, maybe they'd be willing to do a swap for, Jarred Vanderbilt for Giannis Valanciunas. Maybe. It depends on what Washington's really looking for, but that's the problem is Vanderbilt's long-term salary, right? So you have to have a team that really wants him and believes that they can get him healthy. The only reason I think a team like Washington may be willing to do that is because they're not in a rush to win a championship or do anything significant. And Jarred Vanderbilt is young. Still, he's young enough to where, if you're Washington, you can take your time letting him come back. Also, there's a lot of talks about them potentially trading guys like Kyle Kuzma and things like that. So if they were to do that, right, they may have the need for a guy like Jarred Vanderbilt, at least for, a couple years or so, a year or two. So maybe they look at it as like, man, if we can kind of be patient with him, let him take his time, cut his minutes this year, maybe even let him take the year off. Maybe he could kind of get back to being the form that we need him to be in the elite level defense we've seen him be able to be. And then, we can keep him. Or, maybe a team comes and knocks on our door to try to go get him. It's just a thought. Otherwise, you're adding salary. You're adding him to, like a D'Lo or something to get to $30 million. But again, it's just, I really like Jarred Vanderbilt. I like Jarred Vanderbilt a ton. Right? He's so fun to watch. Right? I mean, like you look at that Warriors series and the impact he had defensively, defending Steph, and then switching on to you know like Draymond, and then deflecting a shot. He had a sequence where he was I don't remember the center. I don't. It might have been Draymond, but anyway, he was defending Steph, right? And as he's defending Steph, he cuts off the driving lane. Steph kicks it out. He goes over to defend the cutter and the guy that's coming to cut, right? Then it gets kicked. It was Kevon Looney, I think, was the one that was cut. So he comes over to contest the shot. He dumps it back to Steph, and then Jarred Vanderbilt slides back over and is able to contest the shot before Steph gets it off, and then we're going the other direction. It's just like those kind of sequences make him just so indispensable at times. But if he can't stay on the basketball court, if he can't stay healthy, it doesn't matter. I don't care how good you are. He could be, prime Scottie Pippen out there. If he's not healthy and he can only play 20 games, like, who cares? And I know some people look at it as like, well, hey, as long as he's healthy come playoff time, but he's still got to make the playoffs, right? And also he needs games and times to kind of get back in a rhythm, get back into a flow. We saw it took like 10 games for him to start looking like his old self, for him to start looking like the Jarred Vanderbilt we know and love, right? If it takes another, say he comes back in, end of November, and it takes him 20 games, right? We're into like January at this point before he starts coming into his own. If he's good and he starts really like being Jarred Vanderbilt, and he can play the rest of the season, then sure, maybe. But it's just, I don't think that you can run the risk. I think if you're the Lakers, you almost don't have a choice at this point. I think you almost have to at least consider trading him. I mean, they were shopping him around in the offseason. Right, so they at least were contemplating potentially trading him. And I think with this information that we have now in the injuries history, I think that's probably part of the reason why. And two, I just think that even if he does come back, do you really want to take the gamble? Do you really want to take the risk of how long is it before he gets hurt again? And the more he keeps getting hurt, the harder it's going to be to trade him. The less likely team, unless he you get him until his contract expires. That's 3 years from now, right? And if he keeps getting hurt, he's going to opt in to his contract. So again, we've seen a lot of guys that had a ton of potential. I mean, potential star. I mean, look at guys like Greg Oden. Think of how good that guy was and was out of the league because of injuries, right? Like, again, the best ability is availability. Right? You look at a guy, Joel Embiid can't stay healthy. His team can't even get out of the second round because the guy's never healthy come playoff time. Obviously, Jarred Van, I'm not talking about like talent-wise, but I'm talking about, if you don't have a healthy team, if you don't have players that can regularly stay healthy, then it's irrelevant, right? And we also need Jarred Vanderbilt to get into a rhythm, get into a flow, get comfortable out there on the basketball. Plus, work and build a rapport with our players, with our coach, with our system. We need him to kind of learn the intricacies and all the ins and outs. And if he can't stay on the basketball court, how is he supposed to do that? Yes, again, you can put him in spots. You can have him, 4 minutes a quarter, and it's like, hey, you see Steph? Just do everything you can to slow him down and stop him as much as humanly possible. And he just focuses all his energy for 4 minutes a quarter or 3 minutes a quarter or whatever of just like stopping him and trying to slow him down. Sure, you could do that, but it's just, again, you need him for other things. You need to be able to count on him, right? And even if he does do that, right, like, and then 10 games in, he's hurt again. It's unfortunate. It is. It's frustrating because I like Jarred Vanderbilt so much. He's a guy that I think could make such a huge impact on this team. He solves 50% of our issues right now. He'd help with the rebounding, help with the defense. I mean, Darvin Ham was able to make him a competent offensive weapon. I mean, he was averaging double digits before he got hurt again. Can you imagine what J.J. Redick could do? I mean, J.J. Redick could put him as the slip man, have him, crashing from the corners, have him as the roll guy, put him in the dunk spot. I mean, there's lots of ways that you can make him work and put him in position. You can run a lot of those dribble handoffs and stuff that you see, like that they do even with like Jackson Hayes, right? You have Jarred Vanderbilt, who's long, lengthy, can finish around the rim, right? He's a guy that is also going to be able to help rebound and keep balls alive and all that stuff. But you need him healthy on the basketball court. And it's just like every time we think that we're going to get some news, every time we think that something's going to break for us, it's the opposite. It's news that he's not healthy still and he's not going to be on the basketball court anytime soon. It's just incredibly frustrating. It really is. It's disappointing. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you think it's really disappointing? It's really unfortunate that the guy just can't stay healthy. If you were the Lakers, would you trade him? Would you look to move off of him? Or do you think you got to keep him, even if he gives you 40 games a season, right? He's too valuable. He's too important, too impactful to just let him go. Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.